Hey family, how you guys doing? I'm doing very good. I am doing very good, and I am so happy to be having my multivitamin shake. This is just like what's this? This is a chocolate milkshake. So it's not multivitamin, it's not healthy. It's not gonna help me get back into shape. None of that. It's just a snack that I'm enjoying. So I thought, basically, I'm here at my husband's workplace. I'm waiting for him to come out to knock off. And I've been having a conversation with a friend of mine who recently had a beautiful baby boy. Okay, I'm not gonna mention her name. I'm not gonna mention the baby's name because I know she doesn't want us to be all social mediaing about her. But I cannot wait to post these pictures just at the right time. Hopefully she's gonna at some point allow for it to happen. But I've been having a conversation with her about breastfeeding, and I just thought to come in and do a video talking about the whole it'll be a personal experience, an experience and things that I've learned from other people, including my lactation consultant, as well as just generic information that I've gotten, considering the fact that I had a baby 9 months ago. Ashe. Okay, yes, that was my husband's colleague. But anyway, yes, I was saying that just talking about the whole concept of breastfeeding, the various experiences that women have, because I think the idea, especially when you're a new mother and you haven't gotten information, is that breastfeeding is gonna be a breeze. It's gonna be one of those things that happen naturally. And just like childbirth, just like being pregnant, just like the many things that are involved when it comes to having a child, things don't happen as you expect them to, and they don't happen as they happen for the next person. But there's some information that is generic that if you know, it'll help you in your breastfeeding journey. And of course, if it doesn't help, if it doesn't work, if it's not what is deemed a successful breastfeeding journey, then it is totally fine. Because I think more than having a breastfeeding mother, as much as it's good and healthy for the child, every single child wants a loving, caring, present mother who is there for them in all these various ways that, you know, we all need our mothers to be. So I think first thing is first, this is information that I got, but that I also shared with a couple of my friends. And the one thing that it's actually something that I learned from the lactation consultant. So now what happens usually when you start to breastfeed is that the milk does not flow heavily. In most cases, what happens is you get the colostrum, and then and which also can take a day or two, because for me what I found was after giving birth, for the first 2 days I had no milk, and the doctor put me on some pills, some medication, and just after 2 days that's when I got the milk. But because of the whole inverted nipple and the struggle with the feeding of the baby, it became a whole, you know, a whole journey, a whole struggle, a whole hoo-ha. And then I was getting, what's that term, when your boobs get very full? I forgot what the term is, but there's a term for it. So now I had to get off the pill until those pills until the baby started to then latch, and then that's when I could start continuing with the pills so that, you know, I can keep my flow going. But the first and foremost, I'm just gonna say, is demand and supply. Demand and supply is a big factor when it comes to breastfeeding, because the more your baby feeds on your boobs, the more you are able to produce milk. So this is how it works. sometimes what you find with some babies is that they get frustrated with the flow of the milk from the boob. And naturally, as a mother, you think, okay, I need to feed my child. So now you either start to supplement with formula and give them formula, or you start to pump and give them the milk in a bottle. But that is actually not very good when it comes to, if you're trying to feed your child from the boob, you want them to breastfeed, and you're hoping to breastfeed for longer than 12 months. What you want to do is you want to keep them on the breast, because what happens is the more they suck, the more the flow comes. So now if it's a little bit of a flow, you want to keep them there so that they continue to bring on that flow. So now what happens is sometimes if you then go onto the bottle, the baby gets used to that dummy, and also gets used to the fact that when they drink from the bottle, the flow is faster. And so, I mean, naturally, the child is a human being. So now what they're gonna do is, at some point, they're not gonna want the breast, because what happens with the breast is they need to work. It's a whole, they need to work to bring out the milk. So now if you get a bottle and all you do is pull once and it flows, where would you go if it were you? You would go easily on the bottle. You would prefer the one that's easy than the difficult one, which is the boob, where you need to sometimes, if you start to suck, there comes out a bit of water, and then that's when only as you suck, you'll get the milk. But when you get milk, when you get it from a bottle, you just suck and milk flows. So that's just a tip that I'm giving the new mummies and the mummies who didn't know, that you want to keep your baby on the boob. You want them to be the ones who increase the flow. And of course, you're going to be judging and seeing, is it effective? Is it working? Is the baby being fed enough? Is there a change in your flow? And then from there, you will make the decision whether it's better to just feed your child, even if you just feed them breast milk, but it's not from the breast, you will then make a decision from there. The second point that I want to make is for the mothers with inverted nipples. You want to be sure that you have inverted nipples. What my lactation consultant actually said was, I didn't have the perfect nipple for breastfeeding a child, but had I been taught right from the start how to properly breastfeed and get the baby to latch properly and know the correct position to feed the baby in, then I wouldn't have had the problems that I had. And this information came when the baby was already 4-5 months, and she was already, in her own world. She was just not having all this working to get breast milk. It was like, really? No, not happening. And so, yes, you want to make sure that you have the right latch, and you want to make sure that you don't just conclude that you have an inverted nipple, that it must be for sure that you have an inverted nipple. And the next thing I'm going to mention, I just lost my train of thought because there was somebody who was walking past. Hey, the life of a YouTuber is something else. What did I want to say? Of course, it's the demand and supply. It's the whole latch issue. Oh, and also I wanted to let you guys know that there are so many benefits when it comes to breastfeeding. It's not just for feeding your child. I've been told, and I think I tried it once or twice, where it helps with your child when it comes to the eyes, if they have any eye issues, and it helps when they are blocked in the nose. You can put it, a little bit in the nose, a little bit in one nostril, a little bit in the other nostril. It also helps with the skin. So if your child has a skin issue, this is something that I actually read. I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm not referencing you correctly. I forgot where I read it from, but it was one on some other doctor who's talked about the breastfeeding milk bath. The breast milk bath. That's the proper term. The breast milk bath. So now what happens with the breast milk bath? It's not that you're going to put a whole 4 liters or something of milk and get the baby to bath in there. That is nearly impossible. It will take you forever to get the milk in there. But basically what happens is you're going to put water in your baby's bath tub, whichever one that you use, and you're going to get enough milk to make the water look milky. So basically you want to get the water to look a bit whitish. That's just the basic idea. There would obviously be more water than there is milk, but the very fact that you have the milk in there, it provides all the, oh gosh, you know what, I think I posted it on my Instagram. So go to my Instagram page at mummy_males_mabena, and that's where you get the information about the milk bath. In fact, I will make sure that I repost it just so that you can get all the information about the benefits of the milk bath. But the basic idea is that you get water in a bathtub, and then you mix some milk in the bathtub just to make sure that, to make the water milky, and the baby gets so many benefits, including with the skin. And so that is something that I would advise you to try, especially when you have a child who is struggling with skin issues, with eczema. Apparently it helps as well with that. And you know what, if you do try it, I would love to know in the comment section if it actually works for your baby. Let me know how you do it. Let me know why it is that you did it, and also let me know what the results are for with the the breast milk bath. Okay, then I know you might have heard about the whole the advice that you get from older women, which I think works, which I found that it worked for me as well. But of course there are new things in the market as well that can help you with your flow, that can help you with generating the flow. So let me tell you a quick story. So now what my mother did for me was she made sure that every single morning, because just when I had the baby, for about a week I stayed with my mother. So now what my mother did was she would make sure I have porridge every morning. Every single morning I would have porridge, and eat it in the morning, even in the afternoon. I think I had it in the afternoon as well, just to help with the milk flow. It helps with getting, it's like a lactation thing that happens, and you have lots of tea. You need to have lots of tea, whether you have tea as in normal tea, your jokers, your 5 roses and so on, or rooibos, which I think is a better option because it's also caffeine free, which is beneficial. Another tip to give you is that you need ginger. Ginger is very good when it comes to lactation. So you want to be, I was encouraged to have stony, but you can have your ginger teas, you can have ginger in the various ways. Another thing that I used, it almost feels like I used everything in the market but another thing that I used were lactation cookies and lactation chocolate bars. So I got them from Mrs. Milk as well as Mama Nursing. Mama Nursing as well as Mrs. Milk. So I got my lactation cookies and my lactation bars, and they helped tremendously with the flow. And I also had Mama Nursing tea, which you get at Discam, and I don't think it's too expensive. I think it's about 35 Rand. Around that amount. So now I had those, but the mistake that I did was I did not have a proper pumping schedule. You need to have a proper pumping schedule. So now what you need to do is, this is something that I learned as well from the lactation consultant. It was that you need to have a schedule for breastfeeding. So if your child drinks 6 times a day, and in those 6 times you give them a bottle maybe 2 or 3 times, the best thing to do is to make sure that in those moments when you are giving them the bottle, that you actually express as well, because then you know that you are building up the flow. And when you build up the flow, I'm losing my train of thoughts because of people passing by, but when you when you build up the flow, then you know that sometimes you can then substitute that breastfeeding, or rather that bottle feeding, with the breastfeeding. So now in some instances you can then substitute the two, but you want to keep that demand going. You want to tell your brain that that the baby is still in demand for the milk, because the less you pump or the less you have the baby on the boob, the less milk you have. It's a demand and supply relationship, so you always want to keep that in mind. And so when you take all these supplements and you take all these lactation things that help with lactation, you do also want to make sure that you express, and you do also want to make sure that you have a proper expressing schedule. So the one that I got from the consultant that I went to was that in 2 times a day, but I got it when I was already back at work, as I said. But you use the milk twice a day, the pump rather, in 2 times a day you will pump for 20 minutes. So it will be 10 minutes on one boob, 10 minutes on the other boob, and you do that 2 times a day. And once a day you will do a power pump. So now a power pump, you get it in various ways. If you can search, you'll get, I'm pretty sure, a few different ideas, but the one that she suggested was that you pump for 10 minutes on one boob, you pump for 10 minutes on the other boob, you wait 10 minutes, then you pump 10 minutes on the other boob, then you pump 10 minutes on the other boob, then you wait 10 minutes, and then that would cover your your power hour basically. I actually forgot which other power pumping, but if you search it, you should be able to find it. You should be able to get a few ideas on how to do it. So yeah, guys, those are my tips, and it was just a frank conversation and just letting you in and letting you know about the various ways that you can improve on your breastfeeding journey and improve the relationship that you have with your baby. And of course, some people don't even need this advice. First day on the boob, there's flow, there's cholesterol, there's milk. It is smooth sailing for some people, and for others like myself, it is a whole journey. And maybe it's a whole journey so that we can share with others and teach others. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to press the notification button if you want to see more videos. If there's any topic that you want me to research on and come report on, I would be more than willing to do that. You can leave it in the comment section. Thank you guys ever so much. I love